Welcome to Equal Entertainment. I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist. Pedro Pascal might be adding superhero to his resume as Marvel looks to build out its Fantastic Four team. According to Variety magazine, Pascal would play Reed Richards, also known as Mr. Fantastic, a genius scientist turned superhero. Pascal plays Din Djarin in Disney's The Mandalorian. He's nominated for an Emmy for HBO's The Last of Us. The Fantastic Four target release date is still more than a year away. All the drama that played out in Gwyneth Paltrow's ski accident trial will soon play out on stage. The title, Gwyneth Goes Skiing. It's being described as a story of love, betrayal, skiing, and somehow Christmas, where you are the jury. It runs from December 13th to the 23rd in London. Earlier this year, Paltrow was in court after a retired optometrist accused her of running into him while skiing in 2016. Paltrow says he ran into her. Eventually, a jury agreed with her. Will Smith's team vehemently rejects recent claims by a former assistant that the actor had sex with another actor. A man who goes by the name Brother Bilal said in an interview with controversial YouTuber Tasha K that he saw Smith and actor Dwayne Martin in a dressing room together having sex. A representative for Smith says the claims are unequivocally false. Smith is now threatening to file a lawsuit. Tasha K, by the way, is the same YouTuber that Cardi B sued for defamation back in 2019. The Hunger Games is back. The long-awaited prequel to the events of Katniss Everdeen has a brand new cast. They celebrated in New York for a special screening of the movie with fans. This time, a young Coriolanus Snow is played by Tom Blythe, and his mentee, Lucy Gray Baird, is played by Rachel Zegler. The new film has a familiar setting with audiences returning to District 12 and Pan Am. Director Francis Lawrence and producer Nina Jacobson are giving us inside access to the making of The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
And I first want to say congratulations on returning to this universe. And I wonder, would you talk a little bit about what that process has been like, coming back to this world?
Yeah, I mean, it was really, really fun and sort of surprising, I have to say, because we all thought we were sort of done in 2015. Suzanne Collins was kind of like, okay, I've been working on these things for 10 years. I'm done. I'm working on some other stuff. And then Nina and I got a call from her in 2019 saying, guess what? I'm almost done with another book. We were shocked, very excited to read, and then when we read it, we sort of fell in love. We knew it was very much part of the world, very much a Hunger Games film, but also really unique and a fresh take.
And would you talk a little bit about how the film kind of takes on this idea of corruption and kind of evil? Is it innate? Is it made? And kind of weaving that in with the character of Coriolanus.
Yeah, I mean, what's great about Suzanne is that she always writes from theme. It's kind of where it all starts, and I think that's what's always given her stories relevance. And what she talked about with us and what this movie is that she started to sense the sort of polarization, not just of the United States, but of the world in a big way. And I think it was around 2016 when she started to work on this, and decided that's what I want this to be about. I'm going to write about the state of nature debate. Like, are we as humans savage by nature and need to be ruled with an iron fist, or are we as humans innately good and are deserving of rights and freedoms? And that's what this movie is about. And you can see there's people like Viola's character sort of grooming Snow toward that Hobbesian view of people are savage, and other people like Tigress, Lucy Gray, Sejanus saying, no, people are innately good. We can be good. And that's truly what this whole movie is about.
Yeah, wonderful. And well, also, it comes at this time. I think when I saw the last Hunger Games film, things weren't quite as fascistic or dark as they are now. And I think the tone of this one feels a little different to me as well. And I wonder, would you talk about creating this world of that? There are fascist statues in Pan Am, and would you talk about the kind of real life juxtaposition of power?
Sure. I mean, I think tonally we didn't aim really to do something entirely different. I think what happened is that, going back 64 years before the first story and so close to a war, and we're in a Reconstruction era, and sort of the reformation of a government and the origin of these games, and especially because the games are so rudimentary and there's less sort of a fantastical kind of sci-fi element to them. I think the tone hits a little harder. There's more, it feels more realistic, naturalistic, more authentic, strangely, and I think because of that it becomes a little more jarring.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And because I'm with The Advocate, I want to ask you, Hunter Schafer is known for Euphoria, but this is such a massive platform, and Hunter is a part of the community and is just doing great work in this film. Would you talk a little bit about working with her?
Yeah, I love Hunter. Hunter is one of my favorite people. She's one of the sweetest people I think that I've ever met. And she, we were casting for a while, looking for Tigress, and Hunter read, which was great. And what I found is that a lot of people were coming in and sort of putting on this kind of fake capital affect. It was almost as if people were sort of trying to imitate Elizabeth Banks from the other movies. And and I think what I love about Hunter is there's something just so authentic and slightly quirky, but endearing about her. And that's what I loved about Tigress, because Tigress is the character that she's playing represents kind of hope and goodness and warmth and love for Coriolanus. And she just has that. There's just something so endearing about her and so specific tonally about her, and she's so natural at it. It was really fantastic to work with her.
Well, getting to come back to, collaborating with Suzanne Collins and Frances, I mean, it really was like a homecoming. We all were we were people who had always really enjoyed our experience of working together. We had a very close working partnership. And, for us, like Suzanne's like the North Star. So unless she has a story for us to tell, we're not going to tell the story. And so finding out that she had a story to tell was thrilling, because the idea of getting to go back was something that I really didn't know that I would ever get to do.
Yeah, great. And I want to talk a little bit about the music in the film, which is incredible, and it really leans into the idea of this legacy of folk music and protest music, to protest a regime, but also as healing and as a balm. And would you talk a little bit about how that works in the film?
Well, I think, the music it's very much about storytelling. It's about connection, and, there's these stories that are passed down, and I love the thought of how Lucy Gray's music that we see her write, even something like The Hanging Tree, how it figures so prominently in the original movies, which means that, like, her stories and the stories that are being told here, are still echoing, 74, 75 years later. And that those acts of protest, those moments of defiance, that those have lived on. And so, like, I love little touches, like it's not in the book, but that little curtsy that Rachel gives, and you realize that, it's the same as the Katniss curtsy, just the body language of it. And imagining, like, is that a story she heard about the time that Lucy Gray got reaped? And when she does that sort of defiant gesture to the Capitol, during her training, that Katniss does, to know that bow, which all the fans picked it up right away. As soon as we showed anything, they were like, it's the same bow.
Love
and
that.
so finding that connective tissue, seeing something like the origins of the Hunger Games, of the Hanging Tree, it was a really rich experience.
The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is in theaters now. You can watch The Advocate channel live by downloading our app in the Apple or Google Play Store. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. For The Advocate channel, I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist, and thank you for watching.